Hi, I'm John Doherty. Happy New Year and welcome to my garage. It's freezing cold here in Tennessee. I'm sure most of y'all are in a garage like this somewhere too. But today we're going to work on 4 things to give you an awesome, powerful P4, top of the backswing position. We're going to cover the right leg, left knee, the left shoulder, and the head. So let's get started. All right, let's start out with the right leg. This is probably the most important thing. The right leg, we're going to look at the hip, the knee, and the foot. So the alignment we're going to try to get it set up is our right knee flexed out over our shoe with the right knee angled in, not over the foot or out past the foot. So right knee pinched in. That's going to give us a head start of where we want to be in a minute. So right knee pinched in and flexed over the toes. The backswing alignment we're going to look for, and you can notice my hip joint right here is over my kneecap, but that's about to change. So immediately from P1, we're going to start straightening this right knee, rotating this right hip, and what we're going to look for by the time we get to the top of the backswing is the right hip joint to be inside the right knee inside the right foot. This is a powerful position with the right hip. This is pressure in the ground that you can use to push off from to get that left knee going back over that left foot. This is an awesome alignment. Where can you go wrong here? If you're going to try, and you watch my hip do this, when my hip goes correctly, you can look at some of the junk in my garage behind me here, put my right hip up next to it. When my right hip turns, you can see it was right here where my hand was. So that rotation moved the right side of my hip inward, but I did not move my whole center of gravity of my hips forward to do this. This is not turning, this is sliding and tilting to the right, side bending right. And this is not what you want in the backswing, but you'll see a lot of this in the backswing move like this. That's incorrect. So the right hip rotation brings the right hip inward, just like looking at a cell phone. So you look at a cell phone, how wide it is, and when you rotate it, it's not as wide. So that's why that right hip goes inward in the backswing, because of the rotation. All right, so beautiful right leg position at the top is right hip, inside right knee, inside right foot. Now let's talk about the left knee. Do not leave this left knee stuck in the concrete over here. So as you're making this turn like this, don't let that left leg stay locked in this way. It's going to create too much tilt with your spine. So as we're getting this good hip rotation, the second thing, let that left knee swing inward. I like it at the top at P4 to be over the golf ball. So let the left knee swing over. That puts even more pressure into my right heel and sets my body up into a counterfall position to where I can easily spring back over my left foot. Whereas if you were to keep that left leg over and turn, there's a good chance those hips would slide and the upper body would fall back. All right, third thing, the head. So I see a lot of people start with their head forward. If your head's too far forward and you keep it there and you turn the hips good like this, you got too much of your center of mass left. Granted, you got a little pressure in that heel, but I got pressure in my balls of my left foot too much too in this position. So the head, why I like to see the head set up at address about 2 inches behind the golf ball. So ball position off the logo of your left chest, or just your left chest, left ear tilted to the back towards my right shoulder. So I like to see the right ear closer to the right shoulder this way, to where that sets my head already behind and the golf ball and not in a position where I'm turning with my head, my center of mass extending or going too far this way. So I'm going to try to keep my head here all the way from P1 to P3 as I'm really just focusing on getting that slope with that right leg, that rotation, letting my left knee swing over. And you can see as I'm doing this, my right ear stays lower than my left ear. And when that right ear goes higher, you know, it's 100% certain that if your right ear is going higher, you are extending and side bending your spine way too much. And that's going to put you in a lot of a reverse pivot type situation where you go forward like this and backwards on the downswing too much. So head's in a good position. If you drew a line up my right leg at the top, you'd see this line go past my head. My head would be behind that line. And all the way by P5, my head splits it. So the head, it's in a good, powerful backswing position right here, is going to let my left knee and my head move forward and get my pressure over my left foot and get me in a powerful transition position. So we talked about the right leg. We talked about the left knee swinging over. The head is behind the line of the right leg. I did that by setup. So if you set up this way, you'd have to move your head to get in that position. If your head was too far left, you'd have to move your head into that position. You just don't want that much motion in the backswing. Just trying to eliminate it by getting the head set good at P1. All right, final thing, loading this left arm. I see this all the time. So let's get into a perfect backswing position. I got my right hip inside right knee inside right foot. My left knee swung over. My head is behind the line of my right leg. But this is where I see too many people. So here my left arm is too far off my chest. I've never loaded the left arm up on my chest here. And what people tend to do is keep this angle and over-rotate the shoulders like this. Well, you're all twisted up at this point, and you've never loaded the left arm, which is a major power source. So then you just kind of have to manage coming down. But you're not going to see a lot of great players from this real wide backswing position. What you're going to see they do from P3 is they're going to load the left arm across the chest. Now this gets a little complicated because how you load that left arm, I see it done so many different ways, but how you load the left arm correctly is through the right arm. So left arm just like a piece of rope, but the right arm is flexing and going through external rotation to load that left arm up across my top pec. So above my left pec, my left arm is getting loaded by my right arm. Now notice my right elbow did not do it by working behind the seam of my jacket. I didn't load it this way. I see this way too much. If the right arm gets too much behind your torso coming down, it's going to get real behind you and real steep in transition. So you want to keep that elbow from going too far back behind the seam of that shirt and just let this right arm fold and flex. Now the elbow, right elbow here, it's not going to stay pinned on the torso. It's going to come off about 6 inches. It's just not, I just don't want to see it come off behind you like this too much. So it's going to come up and lift. But it's not, and not be pinned on the torso. But let's just be real careful that it's not getting flared or high or behind you. So what that looks like when I load that left arm across that chest from the face on you is my left shoulder with good hip rotation, left knee over, head in a good place. My left shoulder gets behind the golf ball in a perfect position. Notice my left arm and shoulder angle. So my shoulders are turned 90 degrees and my left arm is very close to that. Not wide. So let's go to the perfect top of the backswing position. I got my head set to the right with my right ear lower than my left. I'm going to turn that right hip and straighten that right knee. And I'm going to load that left arm across the chest. That's going to get me into a powerful position in transition to get that left arm coming down fast and uncocking that left wrist. All right, so Happy New Year to everybody. Work on those 4 things. Get in the garage. Get the Mirror Vision app. It's awesome. And do some slow motion swings until you can get your golf swing looking pretty close to that. Have a good one.